Welcome to Stupid Money. Not that money is stupid. Most of us would love to have more of it, but sometimes we make stupid decisions with it. You don't have to. This is the show that unpacks how to stop making stupid decisions so you can be smarter with your money and have a happier, fulfilled life. Join us today as we tackle credit cards. Thank you for joining us. I'm Diana, and I'm here with John and Vivian. And Vivian, how about you go up for something crazy stupid that we do with our money?
Here's one, Diana. Racking up student loan debt while still trying to find yourself.
Ooh, that's loaded.
You know anybody who's done that?
Yes, I do.
Oh, okay. We'll leave it at that.
What about you, John?
Not having mad money.
Mad money?
Not,
Mad
did
money.
you say not having mad money
Not
or having mad money?
You know what mad money is?
No.
Yes.
Mad money.
Just spending money.
Yeah, I can spend it. I don't have to be answerable to anybody.
John, this is called stupid money. Why would you encourage that?
Because it's control, and you got to have some freedom. Like, how much do you want as mad money?
Well, I think of mad money like $1,000 to $2,000. Now that's ridiculous.
I guess I get what's left. I'd take 100.
Oh, you're talking about an allowance.
Allowance.
So John's
Well, if
also
you're doing
planning.
If you're doing a budget, can I have 200?
Planning for free money, right?
Free money.
Right on. So today's topic, though, is on credit cards. So glad we got that settled. But before we unpack it, how about we hit the streets and discover what people had to say on credit cards?
Can you name 3 credit cards?
I better be able to. I'm online all the time buying things.
Let's see, a Visa, MasterCard, and an American Express card.
American Express Platinum, Chase Sapphire Reserve, Chase Sapphire Preferred.
How many credit cards should a person have?
I think maximum 1 or 2.
I would say a good amount is probably 2 or 3.
Well, you want to build your credit up, so you need to use your credit cards in order to have credit in case you need that credit for something. So if you have one and you pay it off, that's okay. But I think if you have 2 and you regularly pay them off, it gives you some flexibility. You have some capacity for times of need. Somebody gets hurt in your family, you need some extra money, or for whatever emergency. So I would say 2. And any more than that, it's hard to manage them responsibly.
I can't stress enough how important it is to for young people to know what credit cards are all about, because I didn't. I just thought I was buying things and it was free, after college.
If you were in debt with credit cards, how would you get out?
Ooh, I'd probably stop using my credit cards.
Cut up my credit cards and pay them off.
I'd rob a bank.
Okay, what else would you do?
How would I get out? I'd get a second job or a third job or a first job.
I would say if I were to max out a credit card, I'd say starting a financial plan or through a financial planner, or using, hopefully not having to take out any more credit.
How do you get out? If it's really severe debt and you don't think you can get out, you could file for bankruptcy. You can file for bankruptcy, It has to be within a certain amount of years. You can't do it every 3 years, but, it's there if you need it.
The responses on the street were really good. Some were funny, some were serious. One said, get a job. I like that one.
For sure.
And one was rob a bank.
Not such a good idea.
Not such a good idea.
What about that one dude, though? He talked about how in college he got offered that credit card, and he thought it just meant free stuff.
Yeah, it's hard to believe people would think that.
It's not too difficult to
not?
believe. No, it's not too difficult to believe.
Vivian's got a story.
Credit card companies send these offers to college students all the time.
That's true.
It's true. I was one of them when I was in college. And listen, I did have a job, but it was a low-paying job working at the bookstore. But they sent me a card, I accept it.
Okay.
But I
Did you
didn't
use it?
I didn't use it right away, Diana. I put it away to use it for a rainy day.
You were tempted to spend something
I didn't have. We started to use that card for everything, John.
so you never paid it off?
We eventually paid it off, but in 15 years.
15 years.
We had that card for 15 years, and that card
my.
caused
Snowball.
so much trouble that it actually caused me to have a ding on my credit report.
You know, credit cards, you've got to look at them as a tool and use them to our advantage.
So that's the principle.
That's the principle. But even if you pay it off every month, you're still going to probably spend 25 to 30% more. But at least we need to look at them as a tool.
So once we have that established, credit cards are a tool. How do I go about choosing one?
Well, you can certainly go to the internet and do some research. Just a few real quick points is find one with no annual fee. Find one with a low interest rate. That's tough. Or find one that gives you points or cash back. There's some other things that.
But you just have to make sure you're going to pay it off.
You got to make sure that you're going to pay
Right.
it off.
Is there a mental framework to all of this that guides it?
I think so. The framework is you have to make a decision that I'm going to live within my means. If I'm going to use a credit card, it's going to be for no more than the cash I have on hand to pay it back.
No more than 15 years.
Case in
No, no
point.
more than that, once a month.
So what happens if my credit cards have gotten out of control?
Well, once upon a time, I had 4 credit cards, and I didn't even tell my wife that I had those. And I had money, I had purchases on those, and so I would make a payment on one, get in advance, make a payment on the second one, get in advance, make a payment on the third one, get in advance.
That sounds out of control.
And make a payment on the fourth one. And I would stop at that. One morning I was preparing my sermon. It was not on stewardship, it was not on debt, but I got a pair of scissors out and I cut 3 of those up.
Hurrah.
And never looked back. By the way, if you don't know what to do with those old credit cards, stick them in the microwave, get them nice and soft, and see if you can sculpt your pet.
They melt just like that.
They'll
Did you
melt
try
just like
that? These are all super practical. What happens if I've gotten out of control? How can I personally take care of that?
There's a very good way to do that. I call it the roll-up method. Some people call it a snowball effect. But if we put that up on the screen, I'll just run through that real quick.
Oh, good.
On the left-hand side, you can list your debts. The second column is reserved for the amount of money you're going to put on one particular debt at a time. The third column, you list the amount of debt for each account. The next column is interest rate. The next one is the date that payment is due. And then you're going to start making minimum payments. Just the minimum payments.
On each card?
On each card.
Got it.
So the first one, let's say it's 3 months, $25. That's paid off. You put the $25 on the $55. Now it's $80.
Oh, that's why it's called the roll-up.
The roll-up.
So you keep doing that.
Yeah.
Okay.
You can even put your mortgage on here. And as a rule of thumb, put 10% of your income on the debt that you can get rid of the quickest. And it just acts like this roll-up method is on steroids.
That was one of the best methods on getting out of debt I've ever seen. To learn more, stay tuned on Stupid Money.
Hi there! In today's Money Hack, we're looking at the cost of eating out versus cooking at home. Like most people, I enjoy a good restaurant. Whether it's Thai, Mexican, sushi, I love it all. But eating out can get kind of pricey compared to cooking at home. Exactly how pricey? Well, let's find out. I'm gonna make a classic Italian dinner of spaghetti with red marinara, a garden salad, garlic bread, and a few scoops of ice cream. But first, I'm gonna look at how much it costs to eat the same meal at 3 different restaurants: Old Spaghetti Factory, Olive Garden, and an inexpensive local Italian place. A spaghetti dinner at Old Spaghetti Factory costs $12.74, which includes salad, bread, and ice cream. With tax and a 15% tip, the total is $15.57. The same meal at Olive Garden costs $11.99 plus $1.79 for dessert. It comes with all-you-can-eat bread and salad, but we also need to include tax and a 15% tip, so the total comes in at $16.85. The local Italian joint is much cheaper. $6.99 gets you spaghetti, bread, and salad. They don't offer dessert, and after tax, your total is $7.50. Now let's see how that compares to making the meal at home. The spaghetti noodles are gonna cost us 50 cents, and the sauce an additional 54 cents. We'll make a salad of lettuce, 38 cents, spinach, 31 cents, carrots, 7 cents, a few olives, 15 cents, tomato, 34 cents, croutons, 10 cents, and some ranch dressing, 6 cents. After that, we'll cut a couple pieces of French bread, about 17 cents, and put some margarine and garlic salt on top, which add about 3 cents. Then we'll go to the freezer and scoop out some ice cream for dessert, which will run us about 29 cents. As you can see, our home-cooked meal was cheaper than even the local Italian place with bargain prices. Plus, you got ice cream, making it doubly worth it. And when you look at an Italian dinner at Olive Garden, the price difference is a whopping $13.91. If you save that much once a week over the course of a year, you'd save $723.32. A recent study by Go Banking says that 7 in 10 Americans have $1,000 or less in a savings account, and about a third of Americans have absolutely nothing in savings. As you can see, just cutting back on dining out can pad that savings account and prepare you for a rainy day. Or it could jumpstart your retirement fund if you took that money and put it into a tax-free retirement account, like a Roth IRA. So next time you think Italian, think about cooking at home. Thanks for joining us on today's Money Hack.
Learning about credit cards is so very important because in the wrong hands, they can spell trouble. Don't believe me? Just ask Cousin Luke.
Cousin Luke, I hear you want to buy a new riding lawnmower.
Sure am, and I want those new fancy ones that cut your grass, rake your leaves, and water your yard at the same time.
I've never heard of one of those before.
Yeah, no, one with a nice cooler on the side.
What for?
My noon ties and my Red Crush soda. I'm happier than a three-legged dog taking a swim on a hot day.
Well, you know lawnmowers can cost a lot.
Yeah, that ain't worried about it.
So you've saved up the cash to pay for it?
Nope, gonna use my credit card.
I thought you told me that your credit cards were all maxed out.
All the old ones are, but not in the newest one.
Newest one?
Yep, just got it yesterday, and I can't wait to use it again.
Again? What have you bought?
A new fishing pole, new tires on a four-wheeler, hunting license, overalls, a hunting dog, you know, the necessities of life.
But I thought you told me you were having trouble paying your credit cards.
I am, until the missus got her third job. Now we're doing all right.
Well, what kind of interest did you get on that new card?
Oh, I got a good interest.
Okay, what did you get?
Oh, I'm interested in using it a lot.
Well, can you afford the payments?
Oh, yeah. The card came with easily monthly payments.
So how are you going to make those easily monthly payments?
One at a time.
Do you have any money in the bank to make those payments with?
Nope, but I got a lot of checks in my checkbook.
Yeah, but those checks are no good unless you have money in the bank to pay them.
Well, that's not a problem.
How's that?
I'll use my credit card to put money in the bank.
You know, the more you use that credit card, the more interest you got to pay.
Yeah, but the more interest I pay, the sooner to get paid off.
You know, Cousin Luke, some cards can take up to 10 to 12 years to pay off if you only make the minimum payment.
Yeah, that's better than Cousin Bubba got.
What did Cousin Bubba get?
He got 20 years.
You took 20 years to pay off a credit card?
Nope, he got 20 years for using someone else's credit card.
What?
Our following interview is special for a couple of reasons. Dave has been hosting our Stewardship for Dummies segment in each of our episodes, along with his friends. And his personal experience on getting out of debt is just amazing.
Welcome back to Stupid Money. In this episode of Credit Cards, we are with David Farmer. How are you today, David?
I'm doing fine, thank you.
Thank you for being with us.
Thank you for having me.
Now, I understand you have a very interesting story to tell us because you've had some experiences with credit cards.
It's an embarrassing story, but it's an honest story. In fact, this entire program centers around what my wife and I did to get out of credit card debt. We, years ago, were so deep in debt that we were using credit cards to pay credit cards.
Oh, my.
Yeah.
You mind telling us how much credit card debt you had?
It was about $38,000.
Okay.
We were maxed out on most of them. And we invited the stewardship director of our conference to come and do a seminar to my church. The problem was I was having members coming to me asking for advice. Little did they know what I was going through. So I thought, well, I'll have the director come and problem solved. But I listened. And my wife and I went home knowing that everything we had tried didn't work. And so we figured, you know, let's see if what they say will work. And I'll never forget, one of the first things they taught us was cut up your credit cards.
Cut up your credit cards. I'll bet that was very difficult.
It was.
Especially if you were using credit cards to pay credit cards off.
We couldn't make it on what we were making. And so my wife and I prayed, you know, if you place it on the altar, give it to God and ask Him, He'll never let you down. So that's where we started. But where we were shocked is when we sat down and counted out our credit cards and had 27.
27
That was a
credit
shock to
cards.
us.
So you had some in your name and your wife had some in her name, and together you had 27 cards and you cut them up. And I understand you brought something here today.
I actually have the pair of scissors that I used to cut my credit cards up. Someday I want to put it in a frame.
What was that experience like, cutting up your cards?
Vivian, it was the hardest thing, because I remember as got that card and I'm cutting, I'm going, how can I exist now? I mean, how am I going to be able to pay next month's bills? But we put it to practice. We listened to those stewardship directors, and it works.
How were you able to pay next month's bills?
You know, we're faithful in returning our tithes. That was never an option. But we started cutting back on going out and eating, buying junk food, soda pops, etc., making our cars last longer. And at first, we were just paying the minimum payment on certain cards. But another thing they taught us was find one of the cards that you owe the most on, high interest, concentrate on that one. So that's what we did. And they said, write down how much money you spend each day. We were shocked on the money we threw away on just junk. And when you cut that out, it just was easy. Now here's the thing, Vivian. A little over 5 years later, we're credit card free.
No, you don't use credit cards?
No, they were paid off.
Oh, they were paid off, okay.
Our home was paid off.
Oh my.
And we drove our cars many years after they were paid for. In fact, we drove them into the ground, you might say. And she nor I got a new vehicle until after we were debt-free. And the Lord is blessed. We go on vacations now, and we save up the money. Pay cash.
You pay cash.
Don't come home like Christmas, you know, use your credit card to buy Christmas, forgetting that January 1, those bills are going to be coming in the mail.
Well, I want to ask you this. What was your first Christmas like?
Credit card free?
Yes.
Oh, great. We actually were able to give gifts to all the family. And fortunately, but unfortunately, I only have 2 grandchildren.
Oh, that is...
2 granddaughters,
yes.
so you don't have to buy for a bunch. But what we did buy, it was paid for.
You paid for it with cash. Well, that's a very inspiring story, because there's so many people who are burdened with credit card debt. Now, David, you went through that experience, and now you're on the other side of it. What advice would you give people?
Listen to what this program is teaching. If they'll listen and put it to practice, trust God, be faithful with their tithe, I can guarantee you, you can be debt-free 5 or 6 years.
And you have your home paid for, so the cars that you're driving...
Not now.
Not now.
we were driving cars that were paid for. That's another story. My wife had a 2005 Town & Country van, nice size van. When it was paid off, we drove it for another 3 years. It's now 235,000 miles on it, starting to dollar me. We stepped down and bought a little 2015 Subaru.
Okay.
Almost double the gas mileage, and so it was a step down. I drove my little Kia for another year after we were debt-free, but it has now 245,000 miles on it. Well, as a pastor, I have to have a reliable car, and it was starting to give me a lot of trouble. Well, I'm a man. I wanted a pickup, and I had my own nice club cab pickup. Googled what they were supposed to sell for new. Don't trust that, because they were like $10,000 more. But we had agreed, my wife and I sat down, looked at our budget, realized what we could pay comfortably and it not hurt us. And I couldn't find one in that price range.
So what did you do?
We were about to leave, and kind of like one of the segments we talk about buying a car, I said thank you, but no thank you. But by then they checked our credit, and our credit was so good. In fact, the loan officer said we had the highest score he had seen that day, and that's the 8:30 at night. But anyway, they wasn't gonna let us off that lot. They said, "Are you interested in a used one?" Well, I don't know. What do you have? Long story short, they come along and found a 2013 Chevrolet single cab. Now, remember, I want a double cab or club cab. Had a towing package. The bed had already been lined.
I see you like cars. You're telling me all the details about this truck.
Well, somebody else had already spent this money.
Okay.
So if I bought a new one, I was going to have to spend this money.
So now you have a new truck.
Saved thousands of dollars by buying a 2-year older vehicle.
So not only going to this seminar helped you to get out of credit card debt, pay off your mortgage. Now you are living by principles that you know that you can save money. You're looking for the bargains that you need to look for. So now you're living the stewardship life.
Amen. Another thing I found out, but when you save money and have cash, you can go in and say, what will you take for it, cash on the spot? And a lot of people will bargain with you.
Well, David, I just really appreciate you coming here today, sharing your story. It is so inspiring. We have so many people who need to hear this because they feel like it is, nothing can be done. But you have shown us today that it's never too late.
Amen.
It's never too late. Thank you for being here today, David. We appreciate it. We'll be right back after this break.
You know what inspires me about David's story? Is that it's never too late to get out of debt.
All right. That's
right?
correct.
He decided enough was enough.
That's correct.
And he got serious and decided to live within his means.
Yes, living within his means. And that's very important because it can cause undue stress in the entire family.
Yes.
And when you get that under control, you have peace and harmony.
So valuable.
It's not good to become comfortable with debt. And if you have that credit card and you're not paying it off and it's just there all the time, you become comfortable. And that hinders good relationships. It hinders good financial management.
It's not good for your health either.
Not good for the health.
Dave mentioned that he could sleep at night now.
Yeah.
After he had taken care of all that debt and wasn't hanging over him. Our episode today covered credit cards. And if it demonstrates anything, it's that they don't have to control us. But if somehow they did, there's hope. Join us in another episode of Stupid Money.